decoded him a few times. And some of the guys working, but I worked Crete last night, SV9 on 6 meters, which was a new one for me. I'm trying to get to 100 countries, and I got Gibraltar and Crete yesterday, so I'm up to 86, 85 are confirmed now. AA4FL, any other early check-ins? This is Metcalfe Council, TVNet, AA4FL, net control, make your call. Right, yesterday was an exceptional day. 6 meters opened up around 8 in the morning for DX into Europe, and it didn't close here until about 10. When I worked Crete, his local time was 2 in the morning. He confirmed me already, so must have been legitimate. To work from Crete 2 in the morning, it's 6 meters. It's pretty phenomenal. I picked up 3 new grid players in the last hour in the west coast of the United States, including one off of California, CM93. Just about the top of the hour here, and hopefully we can have some pleasant things to talk about. Some of what you guys are doing in amateur radio would be wonderful. Let me let it drop one. This is AA4FL Net Control for the Medical Amateur Radio Council TV Net. We meet every Saturday morning at 1500 UTC, or Saturday time of the day, wherever your local time is. For Hilton in Brazil, it's the afternoon. Thank you for joining us. NetLogger is up and running, and you should be able to use the instant message feature. And this is JAA4FL, and that is the Medical Amateur Radio Council Digital Voice Net, which we bring up subjects related to health-related professions. Of course, there's been a lot of COVID discussion in the last 2 years, but we're broadening out now and certainly trying to talk about personal interests. Some of the discussion we had was organizational recently about some trips that are upcoming. One to Buffalo the end of September for a contest operation. I believe that's CQRY WPX, but we'll talk about that. Let me let it drop one. As you can tell, I'm pausing and letting it drop, even on my own signal, not just from tailgating other people's signals. The quad-net array is a complicated system that allows for transcoding, interpreting the different digital modalities with universality for us to speak here. And it's interconnected servers, repeaters, and hotspots. With all this technology, it needs time to be in sync, so you definitely don't want to tailgate. In addition, you might want to wait about 5 seconds speaking over the prior person. So, with that housekeeping being said, we're going to go ahead and ask for any check-ins that are that have priority traffic, emergency traffic. If so, make your call this time. Are any of our participating stations here on a short-term basis today, or are you mobile where you think you may lose your signal? So we'll get you up front on the priority list. So if so, make your call to AA4FL. Well, we do have some early check-ins here on this wonderful double holiday weekend of tomorrow and Monday. So far, myself and 9 OML and 5RTF are checked in. PY2BBQ as well. Any other early check-ins, go ahead and make your call. Any other regular check-ins, make your call. No other check-ins are PY2BBQ Hilton. I know you said you're remote on the south. I think you said on the beach. Are we able to get the recording started over?
Okay, for FL and the group, this is PY2BBQ Hilton from today from Ilha Comprida, São Paulo, south coast of São Paulo state, very beautiful place, and rainy day here. A cold front came from South Pole and brought bad weather and rain, so it's a day to enjoy and wait truly. Yeah, they said the 6 meter band was opened. Unfortunately, I don't have the antenna for the 6 meter band, but I've been doing some remote operations from here from the beach, and yesterday night we are having the All Asian CW contest, and I could manage to do some nice QSO with the Philippines, with Taiwan and Kyrgyzstan and some other Asian countries. That was really nice, especially operating remotely, doing CW in the keyboard. That's something I'm not used to do. So let me wait one. Okay, PY2BBQ returning. I was talking about medical issues. We're still having a lot of COVID-19 cases over here. The hospital I work, the Albert Einstein Hospital, it has about 750 beds, 90 of which are with COVID-19 patients, but quite a few of them in mechanical ventilation. That's the good news. And we had the first few cases of the monkeypox in Brazil and also here in São Paulo, but it seems not to be a quite infective disease and neither a severe disease as well. So that's the news from São Paulo, Brazil. Back to you, Jay. A4FL in the group. This is PY2BBQ. Over.
QSL, Hilton. Well, I'm glad you're able to enjoy some recreational time, both at the beach away from home and also on the Image Radio. Glad you had a nice opening into Asia. Enjoy yourself. Always nice when you can tie your pleasures to your hobby. If your spouse has something to do in a vacation, sometimes you do, especially with your friends. And that was the premise of the trip to Buffalo for the contest. That there will be spouses and members. And since it would be a multi-operator, one radio contest, people would have a chance to rotate and spend time having fun and enjoying the sights. Things like Niagara Falls and the wine trails that are on the Finger Lakes area, some very pretty areas in western New York. And COVID allows for its time in Canada, which, as everyone knows right now, can be problematic for the discussions of COVID. Let me let it drop one. This is AA4FL, the control for the Meta-Climate Radio Council, DVNet. Are there any other check-ins that would like to start at this time? Go ahead and make your call.
WA1EXA.
Glad to have you here, Mark. WA1EXA, AA4FL. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us out of this holiday weekend or the end of the check-ins. Make your call to AA4FL Net Control. Another check-ins heard at this time. And 9OML, Howard. Good morning up in Chicagoland. How are you today? And just give us a little bit of a report on what you've been doing in amateur radio, as well as what have you observing in the community on the medical health front. That would be exceptional. And 9OML, AA4FL.
Hey, KFL, everybody on the group, this is N9OML Howard in Chicago. Hope everybody's doing well. On the ham radio first, just talking on mostly Quadnet and occasionally 30 Charlie or 1 Charlie. And having some juice with different people, trying different times and days, of course, participating in some of the nets that are available. And I want and I know I'm not continuing. On the area health front, the NBC News affiliate is reporting that the Illinois Department of Public Health is reporting 27,112 new COVID cases with 68 fatalities and 25 counties at the high level of community transmission. The number perplexes me somewhat as they said they were going to not report cases and hospitalizations. In spite of all the other problems we're aware of with those numbers, I don't even know where they're getting this from since they claim they weren't tracking it. It's a little bit confusing. I don't think it's a big problem. I think it says there's community spread, but it's not a minor thing, and people should act accordingly and be aware. But it's just kind of still the mixed messaging issues are plaguing us there. There has been monkeypox activity. I don't know any specific numbers for it. Other than that, just planning to cook some meals for the family here and have my brother over for Father's Day. We'll all get together. And I don't know. Hope everybody's enjoying their weekend. Back to Net Control.
And 9OML, AA4FL, in the Medical Amateur Radio Council Digital Voice Network. Howard, thank you for taking the time to join us this holiday weekend. And I'm glad you have your father there to celebrate and to honor. That's an opportunity I wish all of us had, but we're at a point in life where it's rare for our age group, at least the ones that participate in this net, and enjoy the time spent together. Your brother as well. The University of Florida faculty email came the other day saying that they, about 2 days ago, saying they were going back into masking in classes as a mandatory requirement. So there have been some changes. Of course, Florida has the auspicious reputation here for apparently being the only state that refused to pre-order the vaccines for the young children. I'm not sure if that changed overnight. But the governor here decided that there was adequate ways to get it without his involvement, but he also made some comments that the risks were greater than the benefits. So we'll see. I really don't know his rationale, and hopefully he won't oppose the university decisions because they have a way of being forceful with those that differ, coming from Tallahassee. Now, this is AA4FL net control. I'm going to turn it next to Chip and 5RTF.
FTA.
Chuck, if you finished your transmission, we only had like one or two words out of 11. I heard the word FT8. Other than that, dropped the entire transmission. Why don't you go ahead and try again with a short transmission and 5RTF? Go ahead.
Okay, I can see it on the screen right now. It looks like it is running. I was commenting on FT8. A local ham set up a beautiful, fully automated FT8 station. Unfortunately, he died that same night of a sudden myocardial infarction. It took several weeks and advice from the local ham club before his widow could figure out how to turn this system off. But he had won DXCC 5 times in 5 RTF.
Yeah, fortunately, they have a timeout button, so a timer, so when we get 10 cycles before it stops there, you may be able to shut the head off. But I have seen people seek you for an hour looking for DX. Why they would do that, I don't know. Fortunately, the radios handle it. So I guess we need to detect posthumous DXCC. Is that correct, Chip? Did you order it? AA4FL.
I think it opens the door for all sorts of posthumous ham awards. We need to explore that deeper in 5 RTF.
It probably does rule out a life membership to the ARRL, however. So that's one thing. Now, I honestly, I did obtain a posthumous DXCC for someone that passed away. I had a ham here locally. His wife had been a patient. He passed away. He loved DX, but he never applied. I happened to have his logbook of the world information, and he had earned DXCC. So I contacted the ARL and told them that I'd like to present that to the widow, and lo and behold, a certificate was sent, and we were able to honor her. I thought that was a nice touch on behalf of the RRL. Jeff. So that's one situation where it's acceptable. Let's rule out the others. Back to Jeff, and 5RTF.
Right. That was a nice thing to do. Everything's pretty quiet here. Not seeing a whole lot of COVID. Just the usual summertime heat and people suffering from that. But that's about it. No new news here in 5 RTF. Correct. K3FCT.
QSL, Stephen. I was able to check you in. Thank you for being here with us today. Mark, WA1EXA, go ahead.
Relay on the XA here. Just want to make sure you're copying me.
QSL, I am copying. PA4SL, Medical Adventure Radio Council, TVNet.
Thank you. Um, a very nice weekend. It's sunny. We had some storms yesterday, but thunderstorms went through. Nice day today. Cool. Probably in the 70s right now. And a pretty good breeze. So other than that, the COVID situation, we have large numbers, but very low on the hospitalization. Everything pretty much is open like it usually is. Wait one. And as far as my ham radio, I've mainly been on FD8 and FD4. Yeah, pretty much active every time I get a chance to go down to the basement and work that, and I've been successful with that. And I'm kind of getting ready for field day next weekend. I usually work with my local club, and I take the overnight shift, the kind of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift. So I'll do the same thing this year, and then come home and get some sleep. So those are my plans, and pass it back to you, Jay, on WA1EXA.
WA1EXA, AA4SL, the Medical Adventure Radio Council, TVNet. I'm glad you participate. That's wonderful. Hope the weather holds up. It's been so strange up and down here. I'd enjoy the evening hours. It'll at least be cooler if it's a hot day. Steve, K3SDG, go ahead.
Friday at noon with pitching in to set up my club's regular field day location. Everything from setting up the kitchen to I'm on tap to provide some sheltering and support facilities for our VHF station, which will have a 40-foot tower with 6-meter and 2-meter beams on it. And I've got a gazebo and a table and a fan and some lighting and 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. That's my Friday setup duties. Saturday morning, probably more of the same, helping others get stations set up and operating, not so much. I like the projects more than the operating, but that's just me. Speaking of projects, wait one. Yesterday was a week late, but at least I was able to, with the excellent support of a neighbor's contracting business workman, to take down my Diamond X50 and in its place put up a Diamond V2000, which adds 6 meters to 2 and 440, and basically it doubles the gain on 440 and a little less than doubles on 2 meters. I also put up a horizontal loop in Car Electronics on the angle, and I put up a vertical 2-meter 440 beam pointed at a repeater 13 miles away, on which I am trying to get wires X by remote RF set up and operating. At the moment, I'm just banging my head against the wall on that. Not too terrible, though. It's a fun day of family and hobby. With that, back to you, Jay, A84FL, and the group. This is Steve in West Mount Airy, Philadelphia, K3FC.
Exceptional, Steve. Enjoy your day. A belated visit from family, courtesy of the COVID isolation, and the amateur radio aspects, both today and into next weekend for Field Day. I personally have out-of-town guests next weekend, won't be participating in Field Day. We will be stopping, if anyone's read Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings' books, The Yearling and Cross Creek, we'll actually be stopping in Cross Creek at her residence, where she did most of her writing. She was from New York. Her collection of writing was donated, at least all her notes and such, by her husband to the University of Florida. I've actually been in the Cross Creek room at the University of Florida Student Union, and was named after her and held a meeting there one time. So it'll be nice to go to the rural house there in Cross Creek, surrounded by orange groves. It's a state park. I'm sure my family will enjoy seeing all the antiques in the house. I had a patient who was in the movie Cross Creek. Was a minister that performed, I figure it was a wedding, might have been a funeral, I forget. But sometimes we get some local productions in the area. Dark Hollywood was another one where I was there outside the court scene where Fred Gwynn, Herman Munster, was the presiding judge, listening to him speak. enough for me. Any other check-ins here? Any other late check-ins? Make your call to AA4FL for the Medical Image Radio Council. Digital Voice Net. Make your call. Well, no late check-ins. And it seems like we've been through a round table already. Before I give a chance for another round table, as I said, I won't be available next Saturday. And some of you won't be because of field day as well. So perhaps with it being field day, as we go through this next roundtable discussion, perhaps we should postpone and not compete with field day, since we should encourage amateurs to participate in field day activities. Well, not a contest, it's certainly a way of showing your prowess in setting up remote operations, potentially for what could be emergency communications. So coming back to the list, I'm going to turn it to Howard, N9OML. Any additional comments, Howard?
AA4FL and 9OML. I've been going through some of the forums online from the convention event. I lost the word there for a moment. I'm sorry. The D-Star forum was canceled. Apparently, there was no speaker. I'm just curious if anybody knows that was there, knows what's up, or what the story was with it. And I've also noticed that Andy, WJAP, seems to have dropped from the air. I used to hear him on several nights a week. I haven't crossed paths with him lately. I believe you guys saw him in Columbus, in Dayton also. Wonder if anybody's talked to him. So those are my two questions. And I know I'm out. Back to Control.
Yes, Howard. Andy did stop by our booth. I'm not sure why the D-Star event was canceled. There was one of the forums that had a section on COVID, and I don't remember the name of it because I came in the last 15 minutes and the speaker was the flight surgeon who was actually the chair of the convention. Name's escaping me. And the other one was Dr. Scott Wright. And Scott's call me now, but he is an employee of Mayo up in Rochester, up in Minnesota. So they both gave a nice speech and explained. The crowd was actually pretty receptive. But if anybody else has an answer to Howard's questions as you're going through the next round here, please go ahead and describe. Go ahead, Chip, M5RTF.
I'm just listening. Nothing much to contribute. We are streaming the audio and setting up an archive file download in about an hour. Field day this year, not going to do anything. Next year, I'm hoping that I might be able to do something out here, literally in the swamp. We've also got an interesting configuration a few miles from here. There is the spot where the 90 and 30 latitude and longitude lines cross. It's on land, and you can actually set up a station there, probably with permission. But you can have an antenna which is literally, in 4 separate grids at the same time in 5 RTS.
Wow, that's interesting. If you were on 6 meters and you had a lot of grids or satellite, you could walk from one quadrant to the other. But for field day, I'm not sure that's an issue, but perhaps it's a good place for I'll see you next time in town, Chip. Work some satellites from there. Walk across and give the different grids. That would be a chuckle for people on the other side. Well, enjoy your potential operating time there for next year, and you got a lot of time for planning field day events. AA4FL for IDs is the Medical Amateur Radio Council TV Network, our second go around a roundtable discussion, and we have some questions for members to answers for per these last few discussions. So, PY2 BBQ, go ahead.
Okay, for FL in the group, this is PY2BBQ returning. No further questions or comments. I just would like to to share with you a very interesting experience that we had here last Thursday night when we arrived here in Ilha Comprida. It's a place, an isolated place, far from any other town, so we don't have the lights of the cities, and we had a very clear sky, and I was using the APP, the ISS detector in my cell phone. And I thought, oh, we're going to have a passage of the ISS just above our heads in a few minutes. And believe you or not, I could see the ISS in their whole passage over our heads. That was really amazing. I didn't thought it would be possible, but I'm sure it was there because I had my cell phone with the ISS detector and I could follow the ISS in the whole passage. That was really amazing. Something I wanted to share with you. So back to you, Jay. For FL, PY2BD2.
Well, I'm glad you got that opportunity and experience. I'll have to look and see next time because it's visible at some times, but probably not at others, I'd imagine. So that that's a wonderful coincidence that you were able to coordinate the two. We should all be able to do that with using that AVISS detector. Thanks for mentioning that. So, Hilton, is it okay if, do you mind if we don't have a net session next week? So for you and Chip, there'd be no recording next week. Over.
Okay, as understood, we won't have next week our meeting, so I don't need to record it. Yeah, is it the message over?
QSL, I believe next weekend is field day. It's the last weekend in June, so we just won't hold an event unless we won't need any recordings. QSL.
Roger, Roger. So I'll try to find you in the agent. Over.
There's certainly be no shortage of American stations on. I'm sure they'd love the points. Thanks for participating. And thank you, and also thank you, Chip, for recording today's session as well. On WA1EXA, Mark, go ahead.
WA1EXA. Yeah, that would be fine for me because I'm sure I'll be asleep when I get home about 7 or so, and after being up all night, I'm sure I'll be asleep. And if anybody catches our station, its call will be Whiskey 1 Mary Alpha, WA1MA, and we'll be operating in grid FM 51. So That's a very unusual one. It just clips the end of Cape Cod, and most of it's in the water, but it's one that I think there's people have been trying to get, so we'll be in that grid. Other than that, that's about all we got. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, and talk to you in a couple of weeks. WASA.
Same here, Mark. Have a wonderful week. Steve, K3FCT, get your final comments before you go off to enjoy family. K3FCT, AA4FM, the Marco Medical Image Radio Council TV net plan.
AA4FL and the group. This is K3FCT. So with your kind permission, Jay, I'd like to begin with two questions. First, I note that, at least for me, NetLogger was not at all active this morning. The net was posted, but no logins were posted. Is that just me, or did you forego it this morning? And my second question is, I got pulled away planning Father's Day dinner, so I missed Howard's question. Perhaps you repeat that for me and take a stab at it if my level of ignorance is in the positive realm.
N9OML, AA4FL. I actually do have the NetLogger dialogue, but for some reason the net closed at 16:26. So perhaps you had come on around that time. You came on at 15:17. As far as the list, I did have some trouble getting it started today, so that may have something to do with that. But I do have a recording of everybody here. It's working on my end, even though it may not be feeding everyone else. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Howard. I think Steve is referring to the question about the forum and also about Andy. Go ahead. Go ahead if you would, Howard, and I know I'll repeat for Steve.
And I know now, during the DMR forum, they made mention that the G-Star forum was not going to be held because the speaker was unable to get there or something like that, and there were a couple of funny looks around. I just wondered if anything was up other than just a missing speaker, if it had anything to do with industry support, or if you guys knew what was going on as far as G-Star. And then I just noticed that we haven't heard from Andy here or on a couple other nets for a while. If any of you guys knew what was up, just kind of making sure he's doing all right. Back to net control at 9LML73. If I don't wind up on again, I hope everyone has a great holiday weekend.
7-3, Howard. K3FCT. Steve, why don't you go ahead and pick it up?
Thanks, Jay, and thank you, Howard. Well, this is one that it's easy for me to answer because my level of ignorance is asymptotic to infinity. Not only did I avoid the forums because they were in a room that looked to me to be crowded and closed in, but D-Star is the digital voice mode with which I have the least practice and least knowledge, so unable to be of any use to you, Howard. Beyond that, I send my greetings and good wishes to all the fathers, to everybody's field day, however you conceive of it. For us, for my club, it's a big picnic party, a lot of community outreach. We judge our success not by our point total, but by how many non-hams come by and spend a little bit of time, and how many club members we get to hobnob and share a meal with, and that's our day. So, 73, everyone. I'll leave it at that, and thanks very much for running the net. And as far as next weekend goes, Jay, I think you're on the right path. There's no need to hold the net from my perspective. K3FZT will be clear listening out.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Stephen, and thank you to everyone who participated today. We'll see everyone in 2 weeks, and for now, we're going to say 7-3. Enjoy your field day activities, and Father's Day tomorrow. Juneteenth, if you celebrate on Monday, a federal holiday. And even though it's coming up also on Father's Day, I suppose. 7-3, everybody. AA4FL going to call the net to a close. And we look forward to talking to everybody in 2 weeks. This is AA4FL closing the Medical Amateur Radio Council DVNet and thanking Equine Rave for their technical offering of their expertise and giving us a venue for being able to transcode and communicate with each other. AA4FL saying 7-3 will be going to QRT.